Okay, my friends, let's close our eyes. Put a peace in our hearts. Elevating our thoughts to the sublime world. Let's think about God and Jesus. And be thankful for one more night together. We're gonna learn the teachings of Christ. Let's ask God to inspire us, our mind, our spirit, in order to understand and put in practice what we're gonna learn tonight. Let's thinking about as well all your friends, incarnated, disincarnated, that couldn't be here tonight. Let's take our thoughts to all our brothers and sisters that are in the hospitals, in the middle of the war, the ones that are sick, the ones that are sad, the ones that cultivate hateness in their hearts, the ones that are in the dark. Let's ask God and the Spirit's light to embrace all of us in one prayer, to ask goodness, peace, and love to all of us. Let's ask the Spirit to protect this house, the people that work here, all the spirits that come to help us. And let's begin this night. And so be it. Alright. Okay. Let's open here. That's good to see? You guys can see? Alright. So we're gonna wrap it up the chapter 20. And this chapter, the last item, item 5. The chapter 20, the subject is the workers of the last hour. And tonight we're going to talk about workers of the Lord. And in the beginning of this chapter, in the end of this chapter is a message from the Spirit of Truth. And the Spirit of Truth is Jesus. If you go deep, I'm not going deep right now in this subject, but if you go deep, some Spiritists doesn't believe that it's Jesus. Some believe that are a bunch of good spirits that gave this message. But if you go through to some lecture from knowledgeable people, which I believe they know better than I do, they're going to say it's Jesus. And Kardec says it's Jesus, but he says it's up to you to believe or not. But that's fine. So the Spirit of Truth is the name that Kardec put there because this Spirit presents himself as a Spirit of Truth. And by the end of this chapter has a beautiful message that makes us thinking about it, what we are doing here as his incarnated Spirit. But before I start the message, right now, as we know, we are in the middle of the Earth's transformation. As we see out there, so many things going on at the same time, right? And there is the time. I know you have been in as human beings, as Earth, in different situations along the centuries. And if you're talking about the more than 20 centuries since Jesus came to Earth, so many things has happened, right? But to start to thinking about this message, I'm pretty sure everybody here already heard about Mother Teresa, right? And she's a well-known person, as everybody knows about her. So many charities that she did, and she has been doing it for sure in the spiritual world right now. But she lived about 20 years of her life in a convent of convent of nuns for 20 years. And she used to go out around her area to do some charity, but as so many people know, at least in the past, nuns normally stay in the convent for the rest of their lives, you know, praying, help the Father, and, you know, things that the church do at the convent, those kind of things. And one of the chances that Mother Teresa had to go out and help some people, she faced a situation that was the man asking for water, and he said, "I am thirsty." And he was in a very sad situation, physically speaking, you know, in a poverty way, and you know, she did whatever she had to do at that time, give the water, food, clothes, you know, those charity program that she participated. But when she came back to the convent, and when she went to the little church inside of this convent, she started praying, and she noticed in this altar has one of the phrases of Jesus used. One of his teachings saying, "I am thirsty." And the same day. And she never noticed this phrase there on the altar. That time, she realized that so many more things to do. Is a much more ways to do something to help others. Instead of staying inside of a convent and praying all day long and do those rituals that like the church does, she started thinking about it. What else to do more? Because if you go through Jesus' teachings, he didn't put himself inside of a temple or a house, and he didn't spend his life praying. He did something. He put action on there. And she just realized, and that is one of the call for her to do more. And after that, I think everybody knows about like at least part of her life dedicated to charity. You know, the one that goes to Africa, holding kids, dying in her arms, and never stopped until she died. The part of this chapter is about this tonight. And the Spirit of Truth gave this message. The time approaches when those things which have been announced for the transformation of humanity will be accomplished. There is a time. And the part of the to the works of the Lord, when Jesus talks about the works of the Lord, we are, every single one in this planet, we are the works of the Lord, regardless we believe or not in God. Regardless. Because you don't need to believe in God to be good, right? Or to do good to others. Let's put it like this. So Jesus are not point fingers. You believe in God? Fine. So do whatever you have to do. You don't? Yeah, fine. If you don't need to do anything. Go live your life. No. We are brothers and sisters, right? From the same God, regardless you believe or not. So, and of course, we have recompense, but the recompense, we have to be careful when you're talking about this, because when you talk about a recompense, you're talking about it, oh, if I do something, I'm going to receive something? Good, so I'm going to do it. It's not this kind of recompense we're talking about it, okay? Because the words of the Lord is the one that do something without expecting anything back. You're going to see through this. They put like a picture. Well, they're going to explain the picture what it is. So the recompense, they will be blessed. Their working days will be paid 100 times more than expected. Let me see something. Okay, there were the volunteer doctors. So they just put a picture showing one of those volunteer programs for charity. One Ebola had taken Africa. I think everybody remembered this on the news. It was devastating. We were seeing something similar right now, right? The coronavirus is not probably that bad, but so since like this virus was in a very poor country, you know, get more. It grows more than when it's like in the country like United States, Europe in general, but it's still people suffering, dying, and need help. And they had those volunteers. So there was one of the many examples that was not just from Mother Teresa, but so many other people goes to those places and do amazing things. But do I need to go to this place to do good to others? No. Can start around us. Actually, much to start around us. First of all, had to start with us, inside out. Then around us. It's simple. You don't need to thinking about, oh, but I'm not those kind of people. Oh, I don't have money for that. Normally people that they don't have much, they give the most. Normally it's like that. And then, when they say here their working days will be paid 100 times more than expected. One more time. As human beings, all the time that you do something, at least we expected a thank you word, right? And when we do not receive, what do? We judge. That person is ungrateful. I did that for that person and I didn't receive even a thank you, right? There is the point. When you do something from our heart, with love, we don't expect anything. Because it's not about us. It's about to help others. A great example is a mother or is a father, right? If you expect to always get a thank you from your kids, you're gonna die waiting, right? I'm a father here. So every day it's a blast to have a parents close to us. Every day. But as a kid, of course, the maturity is not there yet. Even sometimes when it is there, we don't realize how good it is. When they pass away, it's like, wow, I used to love my father, I used to love my mother that much that I miss right now. And then you start understanding some teachings. Oh, that's why they said that, they have done that, right? But parents in general, they're not going to expect thank you all the time. They have to do whatever they have to do, you know? But we're going to start from an easy way. But as human beings in general, for our neighbors, for people that we don't know, when you go to downtown once a month, most of them don't say thank you. They don't. Oh, so that's why I'm not going to give this shoe for you, this clothes for you, because you are not grateful. It's not about us. We are there for much more. Of course, you're going to help them with the physical things, material things, but for there much more. So, in the words of Lord one more time, all of us, when you think about people that do good to others in a great scale, as again, materialism, you think, oh, she's blessed. Her life is easy. God's with her all the time. She doesn't have to overcome anything. Everything is simple for her. Some people think like that. She's enlightened. Wow, no. Normally those people have to overcome a lot of things. Judgment is one of them. Imagine when you were not public, you're already being judged. When you are public, when the world knows about you, and if you are focused on what you have to do, you're going to do no matter what. For the good and for the bad. When you have the discipline to do something, when you already understand that it's not about me, but it is much more that I have to do. And yes, you have difficulties to overcome every day. In her case, imagine if you go to Africa, if you're thinking about the richness of the world, right? It's numbers. So 1% could swipe it up poverty from Africa for forever if they work on it to make more money as they do. And you're gonna think about this, oh, these people don't do it, I'm not gonna do anything. Because they can. I can't. Materialism, she was not rich, billionaire, nothing like that. She didn't even have money to start from that. She had the opportunity and she grabbed the opportunity and she made good of it. And after this, yes, seeing people dying because they don't have what to eat, what to drink, where to sleep, she could say, I can't do anything else, materially speaking. But imagine how many spirits she helped. And now they're disincarnated, they just, came and see her like, yes, I didn't have what to eat that time that I'm dying, but she was there holding my hand. That's a real charity. She spent her time, she gave her time to do it. And it has so many stories about her. And one of the things as human beings that I have to overcome when you wanted to do something to others, and I'm gonna let Jim to say this word.
That's okay. Rivalry. Yes.
See, I was talking to Chad yesterday. It was like, I trained. It's like, what a word. Rivalry.
It's a hard word even for me to pronounce.
It is a hard word. So rivalry, yes, you have to overcome that. Why? When you believe in something and you wanted to do, and has somebody else that believes in the same thing, but I wanted to do it in a different way. Normally, what do? You get it together in the middle, or start fighting who is the right?
To prove a point.
Because the idea is not to prove a point, as I've saying. It's to do it. I don't care if you believe in God, in Jesus, in Buddha, in Allah, whatever. To have the good intention to help those people, yes I do, let's do it. Because they have the needs regardless of your beliefs. Right? But you don't think like this, because I have the pride. I have to prove my point. I have to be right on that. And then you do it. And that's why I hold ourselves to do small things, very small things. Very, very small things. Imagine like the greatest ones. Right? And another thing, discord and dissensions. Oh yes. As we were talking, we discord for so many things, right? If we started like economic, politics, religions, right? Let's talk about religions, right? And if you believe in A and I believe in B and somebody else in C, the needs of people is going to change because of that? I don't believe so. People still die about like virus. They're hungry, they're thirsty, they're sick, they're depression, they have depression, war, so many other problems. Because you believe things gonna change? No. But because of our action, things gonna change. What I believe, what you believe, good. But how about our action? There was the point when Teresa, at that time, wrote this phrase, and she realized that if I believed in Jesus and his teachings, what I'm doing? In her case, you don't need to believe him. When I'm stuck here inside, when the world are outside suffering, even as a nun, I have water, a place to sleep. And what did Jesus did? But it's fine, I don't believe in Jesus. But that's gonna change anything? Just because you believe or not, the world's gonna change? No, because you have to act. There is the point. And one important thing, why you have to overcome those things? Because no harm should come to the work. You can stop the work just because I believe something different, just because just because. No harm should come to the work. So when those people stood up and decided to do something, they understand this. If something happened, should I stop? An example. So we went to the lecture in San Diego, Givaldo Pereira Franco lecture, and he was talking about it. At some point of the lecture, he was talking about it, giving lectures in random places. Let's put it like this. And he was in the city, it's a small city in Brazil, and he was trying. He was invited to do this lecture, but at the place that they prepared to him to do the lecture, to give the lecture, was not ready, something like this, I don't remember, but the thing is, they have another place that's gonna fit more than 100 people to give the lecture. In this place, and this is, remember Chad, like 50 years ago, 60 years ago, something like that. He's, if right now it would be like, people are gonna judge. Imagine like 50 years ago, this place where ladies work.
The strip club.
The strip club.
Oh, that's all. This city has a lot of.
The strip club. But like nowadays, if you're gonna say, well, how a person that is gonna talk about Jesus is gonna give a lecture in a strip club. If nowadays you're gonna judge, imagine 50 years ago. And he said, it's not a right or wrong place to talk about charity, love. It's not. The environment, I do my environment. He said that. And actually, that's the place to talk about. Because when I go to the church, talk about Jesus is very simple and easy, right? Kind of is. And we don't have to do the real charity. Go to those random places like, let's talk about. So there is the thing. Nothing can stop us to do the right thing when it comes to help others. If you don't have the right environment, like he said, okay, I don't have like a place like that to do this lecture, but if I have a strip club that people are gonna come to hear about, I'll do it. Because it doesn't matter what you do when you believe, right? If you have to do the right thing, just do it. Don't wait for the perfect scenario to do. Because most of us, you just wait. And by the end of our life, you just, what I have done? Nothing. Just wait for the perfect scenario. Mm-hmm. And actually, we are in the perfect scenario. In the chaos. Mm-hmm. And the divine sense, I like the way that you put senses. The divine senses. I like this. of course, there is just the way to explain, God's not like with the book and say you're good, great, you're bad, great. No, it's not like this. But a divine sense is talking about the false workers. Only live and seek for material pleasures. It has to be careful in this as well because I'm not like this. Actually, we are all in different levels. Different levels. Some people are more, some people are less, but I'm pretty sure if somebody comes to you like, you were a billionaire, do you want to take or not? Probably not going to say no. Not going to be a bad thing to say yes. Actually, if you have a conscience, you can help a lot of people with the money. But we are attached to that. It's okay. That's not going to make us a better person if you know how to deal with, which is very hard, but that's fine. But when we are here and has this opportunity to do something, the more you get attached from material pleasures, the less you're going to do something to others because I'm just going to think about myself, right? If I have to spend my time, I must spend my time with myself, doing whatever I want to do or doing nothing. There's more about this. And, as I said, only satisfy their ego and pride. Whatever is good to me, I'm going to spend my time. I'm not going to spend my time, as example, what we do here, going to downtown and have homeless. No, it's nice, but Saturday morning, my day off, come on, I'd rather sleep, I'm tired. I work the whole week, I manage a house, my family, I have so many things to do. I go to the bed late, I wake up early. Okay, no, I'm not gonna do this.
Sounds like me.
I'm not gonna do this. Yes, we think about this. Yes, we do. So it's not that different thinking about it like satisfy our ego and pride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We do. And they have been marked by the divine justice. When they have been marked, one more time, God doesn't have the list and take a marker like highlighting names. And divine justice is not God punishing us. We do this very well actually already. Divine justice is whatever you do right now is going to be your harvest in the future. That is divine justice. Don't think that, why God's punishing me right now? Well, thinking about what I have done. I haven't done anything in this life. Divine justice is like this. You have your free will to do whatever you want to, but be conscious. What you do right now is going to reflect in your future. And it's just what you have done. Nobody else. And the faithful workers, they put like 3 pictures, but there are so many other people that have been doing very good, at least for me, or for us. As you know, Allan, Kardec, Chico Xavier, Givaldo, and so many others, as Matriz, I just mentioned them. And those are the well-known people. But it has so many others that you don't know that you do good. So many others that maybe don't do for the whole country or the whole world, but doing the city, community, family. Who knows? Right? There are so many good people out there. I'm pretty sure trying to work hard to do good to others. And the faithful workers, those who work without expecting recompense. Well, the biggest example that you have is Jesus, right? Actually, his recompense. And those people do not recoil before their tasks. God will entrust them with the most difficult positions in the great work of regeneration through Spiritism. Okay, when you read this difficult position, you think, oh, thank you, I don't want difficult positions. No? So in order to do good or to be good, I have to do difficult positions. I'm fine. Because I already have a difficult life. Yes, I have a lot of problems. I can't take another one. It's not on this matter. And the difficult position is, and this is a very difficult position actually, when you preach something, when you study something, in order, as we do here, but any religion or any place or any book that you go through, that you just have the will to start changing yourself, the difficult positions is the action. There is a difficult position. Because when you read a lot of good things, when I watch lectures, when I talk to people that do good to others, but I'm not doing anything. So, why the knowledge? The difficult position is to put you in a situation to act. There is very difficult actually. Let's come back to the example that I gave to go Saturday morning, help the homeless. I'm so tired. I'm this, I'm that. You know? So everyone here, or everyone in the world has people or situation that inspired us. For me, an example, the lecture that I watched on Friday in San Diego from a man in his 92 years old, traveling the world to spreading a message of love, and he has been doing so many other things as well, the charity in Brazil. This inspired me because, you know, that example that I gave, I am the one that thinks like this. I can lie because Thiago's here. He knows how I'm gonna use the word H, but how I don't like to wake up earlier. I don't. And those situations put myself in another situation to reflect, to think, that man is 92. I'm not even 40. And when I'm complaining. So to put yourself to act, you know, come here Tuesday, Saturday, and think that's enough, that's good. You know, I like to read. I don't have a problem with that. I love to learn. I love to go through. But knowledge is just one step. Act is much more, because it has some people, like Chico, that he didn't know how to read, even write, and he have done so many things.
400 books. That's it.
Yeah, so I do know how to read and write. But what I'm doing, what we are doing as human beings. And here has the Christ promise when one of his passage, let me read here. The first shall be the last, and the last shall be the first in the kingdom of heaven. I think this is a well-known passage, right? And the false works, first, that will be the last. In this transition that we are passing through right now, the first and the materialized are those people that are in the position as, for some of us at least, money, fame, you know, ostentation, those kind of things. I'm not saying they're not doing good, because you don't know. We think you know them because of the news, of the Instagram, Facebook, but you don't know people's life, people's hearts. God knows. But the ones that are like out there and have the chance to change something, you don't need to be well-known people. But somebody that put the pride over people, the ego, this one that come to you like, do you know who you talk to? Do you know who I am? They think they're the first. And so many people do. There's the ones who be the last. And this transition right now, they're going to be useful in another place. Because right now, and when I say right now, it's like today, the time is going fast. Which side? You must to choose a side. Because when you don't choose, you already choose it. You must. Which side you want to do? Oh, it means that I have to be perfect? No, it means that you have to at least try to do something for you and for somebody. If you wanted to see the change in the world, you know the cliche phrase, be the change. It's like this, it should be like this to understand. You must to choose the side. And the last, you'll be the first. I have so many examples from the spirits, the ones that are kings, queens, when they disincarnated, they like, where's my castle? Where's my slaves? Where's my clothes? What happened? And they just realized that in the real world, in the real life, you are not the first. Because they have not doing anything. And you don't need to be a king, a queen, to pass to the same situation. And the words of the Spirit of truth, as Jesus said, come on me, you who have been good servants. Blessed you be those who have worked in the Lord's field selflessly, and with no other motive than charity. So, when we understand and start acting in a way that charity is what makes us wake up every single morning, then we got an idea. Oh, but it has to be as Mother Teresa. Because when you have charity, it's not just going at places and help others, but it be kind, patiently, have love in our voice and our actions, because we care for others. That's it's to be charitable. Caring. We care for others, no matter who they are. No matter who they are, we care for others. So the point of the item 5, chapter 20, is charity. And without charity, we are nothing. We don't go anywhere. And it's not me saying that, Jesus said. And it's from a message from somebody that have done a lot. As Givaldo was talking, he is one of the guy, I think the first or this first in the world that have research, books, and so many other things about it. Some good, some bad, but you're talking about Jesus. Why? Because he has done something. He has done something. Some from point of eyes, he doesn't exist, he exists, but for the world, talk about a guy that have lived more than 2,000 years ago and wrote about a guy, and he's the one that the name out there much more and many times more than everybody else in the world. Yes, maybe it's a time to thinking about it. And that's it, my friends. I'm pretty sure you still have some